Aim Decathlon Gamer, welcome back to Tennis Manager 24, episode number 40. We are at Wimbledon, and this was the results of the qualifying round because we are going to be joined in the tournament proper, King, that is, being joined by Emilio Nava. Nava put in a successful bid after a first qualifying round upset over the number 4 seed and then continued on to win in straight sets to qualify for the tournament proper. Big success for him, and it's going to definitely help us in the finances department. On the women's side, as we noted at the end of last episode, Noelle got knocked out in the first qualifier, where Kayla Cross was leading in the second set. After winning the first set, she was on her way to qualification and ended up injuring herself and forfeiting the match. So very disappointing there, but that third qualifying exit did at least pay decently well. But with that, Cross is carrying not one, not two, but 3 injuries simultaneously right now. None of them are serious, at least, but some wrist pain, some shoulder pain occurred in that match. But what knocked her out was a left knee tendonitis that'll see her out for a month. But with that, we've reached the midway point of the year. We're into July, so half the year is done. Nava is clearly not anywhere near his best ranking of 100, but he is climbing back up after he was well outside of the top 200 there for a while. He dropped to probably 230, 240 before beginning to climb back up, and you can see he now has found form. And now qualifying for the tournament proper should see that form become even better. And, you look at his web, turns out that we are at a point where Nava is not as good as King. King has surpassed him, has better attributes. He is better technically still, but not by much. And he's way behind in the physical and mental department, though decent. He's a decent player. He should be doing better than he is, and he is starting to show up to that level. But halfway through the year, what has he done? Because we've seen his rank plummet right at the start of the year, and that's a clear marker. That's the Australian Open. He did qualify. He was out in the round of 128, out in the first round. That saw it plummet, which means last year he had some success in the Australian Open, and without those points, his ranking just went away. But you can see the climb of late, he has made that progress. But the only slam he's been at this year was the Australian Open, but now he will obviously get his second appearance. He's only qualified for a single World Tour 250, and that was mid last year. It's been quite a while. A lot of 125s, mostly through invites, mostly first round exits, a handful of second round exits, and then one really solid deep run just a few weeks ago. For the most part, what he's been qualifying for this year is the 100 levels, and even there he hasn't had much success. Half of them, less than half really, just 4 of them have seen him make the second round or better, and just twice the third round, the quarterfinals. He has played a few next tier down when those 100 levels weren't available. He's been a bit more successful there. Only once has he been knocked out in the first round. Only once has he been knocked out in the second round. He's made the quarterfinal a couple times. He's made the final once. He has not won a tournament over the last 12 months. Alexa Noel has really struggled lately. 3 stars. Not a great web, but not a terrible web. Fairly well-rounded. Definitely the stronger side being mental. She at one point was 95th. Currently is where Nava was not so long ago. Noelle is struggling to bounce back. Her performances this year, 16 and 25 overall, but did get those first round qualifiers at least. That's where a lot of her money has come from. But beyond that, a 900 invite qualifier out late last season. A 250 round of 32 exit. Her first success of any kind is a round of 16 for 125s. The 100s have been more kind to her, with half of them progressing, with one progressing to a final. And only at the lowest levels has she been particularly successful. Cross had form. it's demolished. It is gone with this injury. She had form a day ago. She's at her best ranking of her career. It's been fairly stable. The 140, 150 range, which had been her previous high, now it's up to 132, but now the form is gone. It's going to be really hard to get back. She's going to be out for a month. She's only 2.5 stars. Her net play definitely weaker. Her overall web definitely weaker. She's the weakest player on the team and now injured. And did we not just assign her a physio like a week ago? What has that physio done to her? Results for her have been better. She's plus 500 for the year. She's won more than she's lost. She has seen that ranking improve, and that's why we gave her support. I mean, you could see how she has steadily gotten better, and you can see how in 24 she was way down at 940 and then shot up to 283 in 25. Last year with us she was 295, 221 actually last year, and yeah, this is the highest she's been. So we've seen one get better and better and better over time. She's got a couple wins this year down at the lowest level of Pro 70. She's done even 25. She's been okay at the 60s. She's been actually a lot better with the 80s. She's done really well with the 80s. The 100 level, round of 16 each time. The bigger the tournament, the more she steps up. It's the lower tournaments where she's actually had a lot of her shortcomings. King lost a little bit of form, couple week tournaments back to back here. She's dropped from 17th to 19th in the rankings. Grass is her weakness, and she's showing it right now. Not too optimistic that we're going to go terribly deep here at Wimbledon, but her performance has been nothing short of spectacular over the course of this year, and we've just seen her climb and climb again. She was 70 a year ago. Now she's in the top 20, and that was after being outside of the top 1,000 the year before, having only done a couple tournaments. This has all happened in 2 years. 2 years. She's become, year and a half. She's already jumped into the top 25. Quarterfinal of the French Open, round of 32. The Australian Open, a finalist for a 1,000 in Miami, and a round of 16 and a round of 32 out of the 4 opportunities. For the 500s, 1 quarterfinal, 1 round of 32. For the 250s, no successes this year, shockingly. 4 times, 4 failures, with 2 of those coming just in the last couple of weeks. 125s, though, have been strong for her, winning 3 out of 6. The 80s, she's won them all, but that was last year. She hasn't done a 60 since last year either. She won 3 out of 5. So King now sits on the 19th seed and rank, and that's put her in a rough spot, as she has been drawn for a round of 32 head-to-head with Sabalenka. Will we get there? Well, looking at the opponents for the first couple of rounds, we should get there. Samson Kostovic may have something to say about it, but qualifier Van de Winkel probably should be an easy round for us. Balanced match, should advance closer than we expected. Excellent form for our opponent. Remember, this is our weak surface. And the match ends early. We win the first set 7-5. We were down 3-4 in the second set. We have no idea which way it has gone right now. We were clearly winning. We were ahead by a massive margin on the winners. It's surprising that it was even close at all. But what was keeping it close was the unforced errors. We were having an awful match where we were in total control. But who was going on to the second round? Well, no sign of injury. No notice about it yet. We'll find out in just a second for confirmation. But Emilio Nava has brought in 33,000, putting us back up over 300K, where we just were a couple weeks ago, even though we also just spent about 400K on a facility improvement with a couple almost back-to-back slams. They still say we need to improve the medical center, though we are actively doing exactly that right now. So the forfeit was Van de Winkel. We have lucked out on that part, that we do not go down injured. That actually shortens the match by quite a bit. You cut down on the number of points having to be played, keeping us fresher for what is to come. Samson is who we have now. A little bit of a tougher opponent. I'm going to take my chances on this one. It's entirely possible that it could be a loss, but I have a feeling that if we do go against Sabalenka with our weaker form on grass, it looks like I need to train more for grass to prepare a little bit better so King can perform a little better on that surface in the future. 4-0 lifetime against Samson definitely favors us. Her career stat, our opponent, Samson, is just 57% as a winner on the surface, and we are in that should advance stage, but both do have excellent form. Those 4 times, 3 finals appearances and a semifinal. However, we're talking about juniors. This is okay. So we have a J4 and a J4 back in 24, so a long time back, and 3 sets we got those winners. Again in the same year, the World Cup finals in New Caledonia, we beat her head to head in 3 sets. Wow, okay. That's not year 1, right? We didn't make World Cup finals until year 2. So 23 was our first season? Did we really start in 23? I mean, the game's 24. You figure it would have been 24, but I don't know. U.S. Open Junior in 26 definitely suggests, because we were in the juniors for 3 years. I don't remember being in the World Cup finals in year 1. We must have. But that's a semifinal. We beat her then. And look at the difference. We go from close call victories to absolutely crushing her that next time. But it looks like she's improved a lot since then. It's closer, but it's 2 sets and it's a win. We do win. It's not too close. We were plus 16 in the points. Winners was identical, though. Unforced errors was identical, but the forced errors was massively in our favor with a plus 18, more than double. It is Sabalenka who stands in front of us now with Sakari or Andreeva as the round of 16 potential opponents. Nothing ahead of us looks easy, and with the surface issues, I would think Sabalenka should be a heavy favorite for this one, and probably in straight sets, probably with us only taking 2 or 3 games within a set. Maybe 4 games if we're lucky in 1 set is my prediction for this one. I'd say we have a very small chance of claiming victory. Again, this is our weakest surface to play on. And it's the #1 player in the world with an incredible forehand and a web that matches our best attribute in every attribute, bar 1, which is even better. But we are 1-1 all time. The Australian Open, she knocked us out in the round of 32 in a very close fought match where we sent it to tiebreakers in each, and then we surprised and beat her handily in Miami in that 1000 in the semifinal to then go on to lose the final. So here we go. Sabalenka, the opponent. Very tall order, but we are 50% lifetime win percentage against her. Both athletes at near 100%. In fact, she's a percentage or 2 ahead of us on the stamina for this one. Such a tall order, though, to come away on grass. If we weren't on grass, I would definitely increase our odds, but this is more than 10% lower win percentage than we have anywhere else. Now, a big part of that, though, if you remember, I just talked about how we lost back-to-back tournaments, 2 tournaments in a row, that we got knocked out by low-ranked players in early rounds. Those were both on grass. And that was 1 win out of 3 matches played, and that killed our win percentage on grass. Those couple losses absolutely destroyed our win percentage. Prior to 2 weeks ago, we had like a 79% win percentage, or like 80 flat. It was like 2.5 to 4% lower than each of the other 3 surfaces. It was still our lowest. It was already noteworthy that we are weaker on grass. those 2 weeks, those 2 tournaments, the last 2 weeks before right now, exposed us. We've won the first 2 games here, though. It's 2 games love right now, but Sabalenka is bouncing back right now with a very dominant serve game, but a double fault there has her flustered, maybe? We've battled back. It's deuce. Could we somehow squeeze out another break? Well, not like that. That's a fantastic winner. And I didn't take note of the form for Sabalenka. Oh, we got so lucky there. That one just hits the line, and it does hit the line. It's the correct call, but we've seen that called out so many times. Here, it does get correctly called in. And we lead 2-1, and now serve with a chance to go up 3-1 in this opening set.
15-0.
Could we be in for a top-notch performance against the world's #1? Our ball placement has been very good so far. We've had a number of very, very close balls in, and we've only had one very close out, and I haven't seen anything wild so far. We do lead 3-1 right now as Sabalenka now takes her turn at service. Another close one out after Sabalenka pulls back a game at 3-2, and we're trailing 15-40, now 30-40, and that's it. It's back to level. So our advantage is gone just like that, and of course the momentum is going to be with Sabalenka at this point. So the set is very much in doubt now, and we're starting to where we were just hitting in barely. Now we're just hitting out consistently lately. Our winners have been a foot inside the line, where the points we're losing, there's one more back on the line, but lately our misses have been an inch or 2 out consistently, and we're starting to get back to the accuracy, but we trail 4-5 here. Must win on this serve, otherwise it'll be set done. 30-all, 40-30, and we got it. We level it. 5 games apiece. Definitely giving her a run. So a little better than I expected us to fare on the grass. But like I said, that percentage right now is very much not the percentage we had a couple weeks ago. It was still weaker than the other areas. And at 5-6, we're on the verge of getting broke for the set. That was a set point there. But with a huge miss from Sabalenka, we get it back to 30-40, and then we go and miss ourselves again on a close one. We started that set very accurate, very aggressively playing the lines. We finished that set with a little less accuracy, just missing a number of key points, and that was the difference. We lose 5-7.
Second set.
Speeding things up once again. And now our accuracy is, at the start of the second set anyway, even worse than the first. We saw a close miss, and then we saw a bit more further off target. But Sabalenka is having her own set of big misses. I think we got lucky on that call there. That one appeared to be... Oh, it's perfectly on the line. Never mind. That is perfectly on the line.
15-0.
Statistically, right now we are just 1 point behind. Just 1 point behind is all. Winners, identical. Unforced errors, -4. And we've played nowhere near 140 points, so we are definitely off on that 10% margin. But the forced errors, very much in our favor, +6. So it's the forced versus unforced errors that is deciding this match so far. It's amazing that we're sitting here almost perfectly aligned, but down a set. And now down 2-1. A couple of nice winners there to draw level at 2 games all in this second set. Like I said, we're playing very close to that 50-50. But more and more frequently, I'm seeing more of the just miss and less of the just in. And the few winners that we are securing otherwise are the ones that are, well over a foot inside. So we are not painting the corners very well at all in this match. We've been broke. We now trail 4-2. She has service right now. A game win right now would seal our fate, and has. We're down 5-2. It is now nothing more than inevitable at this stage. 15 all. Even if we get a game here, it's going to be near impossible with we have to go straight through, and it's match point 15-40 with service on the verge of getting broke again. So I figured we might get a set with 4 games and the other with 2 or 3. We're not far off from that, right? We got 1 more game in that first set. It was a little closer than I expected it to be in that first set, but the second set is playing out very much like I expected, where we're only going to get into that 2 to 3 game range. We're competitive. We are close. We make her work for it, and that's our tactic, combined with our mental and physical ability. But technically, she's just too good for us, and it's a shame we even beat her once. We really should be heading for an 0-3 against her, and this is more like what I've expected all along against Sabalenka, because that first match was way too close. This first set was way too close. This second set is us being competitive against the world number 1 and going, hey, pat yourself on the back. Good job. Don't hang your head. Nothing to be ashamed of. And this is where we realistically are right now. So I'm kind of happy that this is the outcome that we are facing. It's 40 love. It's match point again, but she goes long. It's 40-15. We get another shot. Another lifeline, but she gets a win on the next point. She beats us 7-5, 6-3, and that is Wimbledon done. That's okay. I hate wearing white anyway. The payment for our round of 32 with a 47% prize share is $117,719. Bring us right back up to $422K. Plenty to do, but what I want to see in the next little bit is a proper assessment of the facilities and our new staff member to see if there's any positive impacts happening anywhere before we turn around and throw in our next investment. The other thing to look at is where are we on renewals, because for once we finally are sitting consistently on a positive balance. We're already halfway through the year. I think we are going to have to start focusing on renewals of contracts, who's where with what. At this point I can't say. King signed a multi-year deal. This might be the last year of that deal, and I think it would behoove me to look into that before it gets too late, and certainly while we have the account balance, to make sure we are securing King once again in the long term, because she is the cornerstone of this playthrough. I know we're on the short side, but I mean, we're out of the tournament, so we got nothing left to work on just now. We've got 2 injuries. Nava got injured too, so Nava has picked up an injury, and suddenly everybody's mad but King. It's a sprained left ankle. Will be back in about 3 weeks. That's going to do it for this episode of Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.